This week's Torah portion, Shlach Lecha, sets us a challenge that is almost as great as the challenge that faces the characters it talks about. This is the story of the spies. 12 of them go in to look out the land of Israel. 10 of them come back in a blind panic, saying that they can never, never conquer the land. It's a land of milk and honey, they say, but it's full of fortified cities. We saw giants, they say. We saw Amalek sitting in the valley, and compared to those giants, we looked like grasshoppers. Even the word of Joshua and Caleb is not enough to dissuade the panic from infecting the congregation. The congregation itself begins to panic. They scream, as they always scream, that they wish they could go back to Egypt. God wants to punish them. Moses has to intervene. And the outcome is that all of the congregation, all of that generation, are going to be left wandering in the desert for 39 years until they've learned not to be fearful. The thing is, though, that there were actually giants in the land. We find a verse that says, V'yalu b'Negev, they went up to the Negev, V'yavo ad Hebron, and they went up to Hebron. V'sham Achiman, Sheshai, v'Talmai yelidei ha'anak. There were 3 children of giants, with good giant names, I might add, Achiman, Sheshai, and Talmai. Not quite as good as Hagrid and Grawp, maybe, but certainly good enough to be getting on with. So if there really were giants, weren't the spies telling the truth? And weren't they and the congregation entitled to be scared? I think in the end this is teaching us something about fear, and the way that fear can infect us. The Torah says that they were just ordinary giants, not Amalek, not children of angels, but just giants. But the spies first feel small, they feel like grasshoppers. Then they assume that the giants are far more enormous than them. And once that process has begun, they're catastrophizing. They can only see the worst outcome. So when we're confronted with something that makes us fearful, the challenge to us is not to fall into the trap of the spies. Perhaps not to feel small. Perhaps not to exaggerate. And perhaps, having done both of those 2 things, we can stop ourselves from catastrophizing. It's very difficult, but the price we pay for our fear is very great. That was your Torah in 2.